Father Tim Shillcox. I'm the pastor at St. Rose in Clintonville and St. Mary's in Bear Creek. I got hired by them. Yeah, I was hired as a lay teacher in the Catholic high school in Green Bay as an art teacher, about a year out of college, and thinking of priesthood, not of religious life. Uh, and at that time, there were 24 Norbertines on the faculty. All but one of them lived at the end of the hall in the faculty house, uh, between 23 and 75. Uh, they invited me to evening prayer and supper and to get to know them. I think they were recruiting me before I realized it, but their life together was very compelling for me. They seemed happy, they got along, they had this common ministry. For me, the hardest part was getting to the door. It took about 9 years between the time when I knew God was calling me to be a priest and did something about it. Once I got here, I never seriously wanted to leave. But for me, the hard part was getting here. I think I held the record for being longest on the line at the time, about 2.5 years. Uh, uh, Dave Komatz, who's the sub-prior and director of formation now, he was on the faculty with me. A group of us went up to Morgan Lake for a weekend just to spend some time in nature, all of that, get to know each other a little better. And remember, he asked me sitting out in the dock, you ever thought of joining us? And I guess I had. And so he asked, well, can I give your name to our vocation director? And, sure. So I'd see him maybe once or twice a year. I think he would have seen me more, but I was moving pretty slowly. And made a come and see weekend. It wasn't as helpful as I expected it to be. I think I just needed more time. And eventually it was my pastor at home. I think he sensed I had a vocation. And he said to me as I was walking out of Mass one Sunday, he said, so when are you going to join the seminary or look into the seminary? I was 26 at the time. And before I could say anything, he said, you'll never be happy unless you give it a try. And then he turned away from me to talk to somebody else at the back door. I would say to take your time, not to drive the vocation director nuts, but to take your time. Also not to expect yourself to be perfect. I think that are you good enough? Can God use you? Those are the kind of questions. Doing a number on myself, I think, to believe that God calls very unlikely people many times, people who stumble and fumble and are uncertain, and God's grace does the extraordinary things that any of us may be able to do. To trust that, I think. I've not regretted responding to the call to priesthood. I have a front row. I'm a schmoe from Appleton, Wisconsin, and I have a front row to the great moments of people's lives, great moments of humanity. And it's very humbling and very beautiful. In a selfish way, it teaches me to be a better human being and disciple of Jesus by being a priest.